on the Prime Minister to visit Manipur?
I don't know whether Prime Minister will take it as a pressure or not. However, the visit of Mr. Rahul Gandhi is most welcome. जब किसी के घर में बीमार होता है तो when your neighbors and आपकी जान पहचान visit होता है तो ये the जो आदमी sick हो रहा है उसको he feels good. It's some sort of that, and it's a welcome statement, and it is a pressure to the Prime Minister. It will be good for the society, and I hope such the visits and his effort should make a fast forward way to bringing the peace. However, I also have a question. Of course, the MP of the Congress from Manipur spoke extremely well in the parliament in last week or so. However, I have seen none of the MPs speaking about the demands raised by the Manipuris in the past 1 year. Those demands are very clear and vocal. Those are remove SU, abrogation of SU, implementation of NRC, and blockage of national highway to the Meitei people especially. It should be protected and it should be safeguarded. And border fencing, of course, it's turning out. And these are some of the points apart from Meitei being included as a scheduled tribe. These should be spoken by any of the MPs, whether it's ruling party or opposition party. This will make the Lok Sabha records on records. However, none of them have spoken so far, though it's my opinion in the business of the parliament.
People make them out to be. And then the third part you heard, he said, I'm not going to get into this question in which anything which is divisive will not be answered. But to you first.
Kartikeya, Brajesh, good evening. Thank you for giving me the last slot so that I can really have my say. I don't even know if I need to say anything. You already know what I'm going to say. But let me take this point by point. Rahul Gandhi's visit, third visit, great. I'd like to believe him. I'd like to see the sincerity through which he is coming to Manipur, but unfortunately I don't. The reason I don't is very simple. Because there was my co-panelist made a point about some hospital, and if somebody is sick, somebody comes to see them, they feel good about it. Now here's the way I look at it. If I was sick, I would want my friends to come. I'd want people who genuinely want to help me and can put their hands in their pocket and can go out of their way to do so. Not just somebody who will use my sickness to their advantage. And I think that is what's happening. When people say we don't care about whether he's politicizing the issue or not, you must care about that, because only with genuine and sincere efforts will things come to some sense of normalcy. Now, the reason Rahul Gandhi doesn't want to take the questions is because many fingers can be pointed at him. Now, what are the fingers that can be pointed at him? We must ask ourselves. Number one, the question on NRC. They as a party and as an alliance have wholeheartedly objected to the NRC. So what is their position on that? This should not just be asked of Rahul Gandhi, but this must be asked of his party members in the state, of the elected representatives in the state. Number two, where were you when this illegal immigration was happening? Because as you will understand, and anybody with any common sense will understand, that this is not an overnight thing. This hasn't happened in the last 5 years. A demographic change has not happened, in all of a sudden. It's happened over a period of time. Surely when their party was in power, they must have got inputs as well. Why is it that their mess has been left now for somebody else to deal with? Number three, when did the Land Regulation Act happen? It happened during their tenure. At that point, you did not care about the people of the valley. When you're talking about development in the hills, that is one of the biggest concerns that the Kuki community has. What do you have to say for yourself? How is it possible that there is rampant poppy cultivation, but there isn't any infrastructure? Now these are the questions that Rahul Gandhi neither wants to address, nor does he want to do anything about. But, they found this one stitch where they say that, the Prime Minister should visit, the Prime Minister should visit. Now, why the Prime Minister hasn't visited, should he visit? Like I've taken this example a lot of times before when the Khalistani movement picked up in Punjab, when there were riots. The Prime Minister didn't need to go because it comes under home security. Has he spoken about Manipur? Yes, he has many times. Has he spoken in the parliament? Yes, he has. But did the Congress allow him to speak? No, they didn't. So what sort of help can you give? What sort of support can you give? When you're not even willing to listen to his response to your questions. So I don't frankly see any sincerity in what Rahul Gandhi is seeing. He's seen this as a political opportunity, and like a good politician, he is making the most of it. And I will say a good politician because this is by far the most that he's been able to manipulate out of any of the situations that have happened throughout the country. He's found a soft spot here. Now, when we come to, the other parts of the argument in terms of, what Manipur needs, see, the rate of incidence has come down dramatically. You cannot compare it to what was happening in May, June, July. How is that happened? It's happened because clearly some measures have been taken. 11,000 FIRs have been filed. Many arrests have been made, not just, from one end, not just from the valley, not just from the hills, but also of people from Myanmar who were operating in Manipur. NIA has arrested them. How has all of this happened? Yes, there is much more to be done. This sort of, we have to have the kind of buffer zones we have, those have to be removed. There has to be trust building between communities. Disarmament has to happen, which is not, I personally don't feel that it's going to be very easy because people are not coming out in the open and giving their arms out. People are making, there are vested interests that are making them at home. So it's not going to be that easy. So that is going to take time, and that cannot happen without community involvement. We talk about peace committees. There's been a great initiative in Jiribam, wherein a Kuki gentleman has come together and asked for all communities to be involved, to come together to reprimand what happened in Jiribam and to take steps further for some amount of cease in, the kind of trauma that Jiribam has seen. So, there have been efforts like this, but how many community people there are who stall these efforts?
I think you made one important point. Let me go point by point. You are saying basically that Rahul did not answer sticky questions, sticky issues. Brijesh.
Well, I think, Rahul Gandhi knew, and I agree with Rami on that point, that, Rahul Gandhi knew that there could be questions and, there could be answers which can take away the real intention of the narrative which the Congress party and which Rahul Gandhi wants to do there. I think, Rami made a very important point that by far this has been one of the Rahul Gandhi's most astute political move, where he picked up an issue, and that issue has had the government on the mat. The government has had a series of meetings. Home Minister has visited. There's a perceptive.
Yeah,
Kartikeya, I would like to clarify.
General, okay. I think General Siwaj wanted to do something. Then I'll come to you.
Yeah.
General Siwaj.
Yeah, Kartikeya.
Mr. Sharma?
Yeah, Kartikeya, thank you. I would like to clarify two issues here, which Hezang has mentioned. And the blockade of highways, I never said it is blocked for all the communities. Blockade is only for the Meitei communities. You have seen in your program, you have conducted about 15 days back, one bus which was carrying the CRPF personnel, the CRPF personnel were deboarded at the tours. Why? Because the bus owner is a Manipuri. The bus belonged to Meitei. Similarly, 8 months back, CRPF or central forces were coming from Guwahati to Manipur, and somewhere in Kangpokpi or the security personnel were deboarded, and the buses were 3 or 4 buses were torched because it belongs to Meitei. This is what is not blockade is on not for all. It is only particularly from Meiteis and the items belonging to Meitei. Number one. Number two. There is hardly any blockade by Meiteis, the logistic items going towards the hill. Of course, it happened once or twice because the supply line which comes via National Highway number 2 and 37, and they come and they have a hold or stock point at Imphal, and the further supplies are distributed from Imphal to various places, various hills. When there is a shortage, people find, then they want to hold the items for their community or for the valley people. That's why sometimes it's not. When supplies are abundant, it never stops. And number three, the drivers and the vehicles which belong to non-Meiteis, they never stop by the Kuki community.
Okay.
So, in fact, there is no stoppage of vehicles and logistics to the valley side. Even in the worst case, the army and the air force has helped to drop the essential items by using helicopters. This is one aspect. And another aspect I would like to bring out is, Hezang has mentioned about two women, unfortunately, we have condemned many times, paraded naked. They were not gang raped. I have mentioned many times, this is the interview taken by The Wire, which is
Okay,
mostly
let's
not
not-
speaking
okay,
about Manipur. They were
Okay.
not gang raped. So
Let's not
whenever
get into
somebody
the,
says
let's
gang
not,
rape,
Mr.
please
Sharma,
don't
let
them.
us not, I fundamentally believe in one thing, let us not get into the shades of the sexual violence. It's a case
Okay,
of
and
sexual
one more-
violence.
yeah,
Let us
one
not
more
get
aspect
into
I want to bring
the,
out.
let us not
Yeah.
get into the shades of it. I fundamentally opposed to it.
Yeah,
Whatever
please stop.
happened
When
is
somebody
wrong.
uses some...
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
please,
whatever
yeah,
happened is
please
wrong.
stop.
And you have also
Yeah.
in my show have condemned it. Ijan,
Yes, exactly.
Yes, you have condemned
And-
it. I
and
remember
one
it.
last point, one last
Everyone
point.
on my show has condemned it, Raf. Everyone. So let's not get